Building an aesthetic physique really comes down to simple things being done over and over again, but also to you knowing your nutritional goals and your workout routine. But before we jump right into the video, I wanted to quickly define what is an aesthetic physique. What are we exactly trying to achieve in this video, or what are we trying to achieve with our bodies? I would define aesthetic in a simple way. First, it has to be sexually attractive. Second, it has to be capable. And third, it also has to be healthy. Talking about size, you don't necessarily have to be big or look like a huge bulldog, but you also cannot be tiny, as you need some muscle mass to show off your body. In terms of body fat, idealistically, and of course, obviously, single-digit body fat percentage would be ideal, but I realized that this is not achievable, or this is not realistic and sustainable to some of the people. So I think the healthy fat percentage range has to be something between 10 to 14% body fat. And of course, there's no aesthetic physique without abs. Besides that, your shoulders have to be preferably wide, paired with developed lats and a tiny waist. You have to achieve that V-taper look, which is highly regarded as the most attractive and the most desirable physique among men, but also desirable among women in terms of attraction. Once we're done with the step 1, we have to jump into the step 2, and that's gonna be to understand your own body type. Now, the truth is, if you do not know your body type and your genetics and your requirements, you're gonna find it pretty difficult to see any type of results at the gym, yet alone achieve an aesthetic V-taper body. You have to understand that there's no one-size-fits-all answer. Things are gonna be different for you, for me, and to many other people. But also, you shouldn't listen to all this generic fitness advice from men's health magazines or fake, natty bodybuilders, because the things that work for them do not necessarily work for you, especially if you are a beginner with zero prior experience at the gym or zero prior experience with weightlifting, strength training. The problem that I have with the current fitness industry is that it's very saturated with bad advice and with bro science. You really need to know simple basic stuff to build an aesthetic body. You don't need tons of supplements, you don't need fancy workouts, you don't need 30-minute ab workouts every day for the rest of the month or something like that. You don't need all those crazy routines. So all I'm saying is fitness is going to be very subjective. It's gonna depend on your requirements, your genetics, and your goals. However, there are 3 main body types that I feel like we have to focus in this video, and we have to dissect one by one so that you could identify with one of them and say, okay, that's my body type, that's what I have to do in order to achieve an aesthetic body. And those 3 body types are gonna be, first, skinny, people who are relatively skinny and don't really have considerable or noticeable fat mass. The second group is gonna be people with excess fat. Those are the people with slow metabolism, etc., etc. And the third group is gonna be skinny fat people. Now, these people don't really have any type of muscle mass, but they also have some fat at the same time. So, brutally honest, being skinny fat is kind of like having the bad from both worlds. But hey, there is a solution, there is a fix, and we're gonna talk about that in this video. Let's continue. Now, depending on your body type, depending on your genetics, you will have to adjust your motivation, your goals, your method, and your approach. I fall into the category of being skinny with high metabolism and not being able to build a lot of muscle mass. So let's talk about each category, each body type, and their motivation and their goals. Number 1 is going to be people who are skinny. They have to bulk. As simple as that. This type of people can get away with eating 2 pizzas at midnight, and they would still maintain a single-digit fat percentage and look absolutely diced. These people can also dirty bulk because their metabolism is faster than her ex. These people can also be found always trying to gain weight and always trying to bulk up because they eat like a fucking horse. The downsides of having this type of body type is that you have to eat tons and tons of food. Now, this might sound like fun to some of you guys, but trust me, this is not fun. You have to sometimes just shovel food down your throat and make yourself consume some calories because you are skinny, because you have bad appetite, hence you ended up with this skinny frame in the first place. Oh, and they also have visible abs no matter if they trained prior or not. While the downsides of having this type of body type does not sound that terrible, the upsides can be even better. Once you have built substantial amount of muscle mass, you can look relatively diced and ripped and lean 365 days a year. You don't have to be bulking and cutting all the time. You just need some type of muscle mass in your body and you're good to go. The second group of people are gonna be people who have excess fat or people who are trying to cut down. This is the majority of fitness industry nowadays. You can see ads or you can can see, I don't know, marketing about losing weight, the biggest market nowadays is for people who have excess fat and who are trying to lose weight. So in a way, you guys are a bit more lucky because you have more information, you have more access to maybe sources, maybe to trainings, maybe to material online. Obviously for them, the goal has to be to eat less calories than they burn and still hit their protein intake goal for the day. These people also think that they do not have abs and they think that you have to do some fancy exercises to have your abs. But the truth is, they do have abs. It's just hidden under the fat layer. The upsides of having this type of body type, I believe, is that you don't have to be breaking the bank by making expensive groceries to eat tons and tons of calories like skinny guys. You're good with just hitting your protein goal and eating less calories than you burn. And the category number 3 is gonna be skinny fat people. These people don't really have substantial amount of muscle mass, but they also have some type of fat. They usually have small, not really muscular arms and maybe noticeable belly. The question that gets asked by skinny fat people is, do I have to bulk or do I have to cut if I'm skinny fat? Now, from my limited knowledge and from my experience and from my research, I can safely and surely say that you have to still bulk because you want to build that fundamental amount of muscle mass, but then you're gonna cut it down and get ripped. Unlike skinny guys with super fast metabolism, you cannot afford yourself to dirty bulk. You cannot afford yourself to be eating whatever you wanna eat and still, like, you cannot get away with that. You have to bulk, but in a very minimal calorie surplus. So we're talking about 200 to 300 calories a day surplus. Okay, now we're done with the motivation and goal for each body type. Step 4 is gonna be your workout program. To build an aesthetic body, you have to have a clear goal in your mind. You have to have a clear workout routine. You cannot just go and run for 30 minutes and then do some fun stuff and then do some weightlifting. It doesn't work like that because without a direction, you will have no results. Now let me just break down the most common myths or misconceptions about working out. The first one is you have to work out a lot, and that's simply not true. If you watch these Hollywood transformation videos, actors always talk about how they had to put in hours and hours of workout at the gym, maybe even work out twice a day or maybe 3 times a day, and that's simply not true. You have to stimulate your body just enough to start building muscle and burning fat, but you don't have to be overworking and wearing your body out. You should not do that. Number 2 is gonna be you are building muscle when you are resting. I understand that when you go to the gym, you feel accomplished, you feel pump going on in your body, you feel like your chest is growing, your arms are bigger, so it feels like you're building muscle at the gym. But the truth is, at the gym, you're basically just destroying your muscles to then later on at the kitchen nourish them and then rest. So you build muscle and get an aesthetic body when you are resting and when you're recovering. And number 3 is gonna be cardio can help you lose weight. That's true, but the question you have to ask yourself is, once I'm done with my, for example, 30 days cardio challenge, will I actually stick to my routine? Will I be able to keep it a sustainable habit, or will I just jump back to my old routines, my old habits, and lose all the progress that I've made? The thing is, if you want to lose weight, you have to do it in a way which is fun, which is sustainable, and which is the habit or the regime that you can stick to. I talk about exercises, we have to simplify it and make it very easy for you to follow. The very first thing that you have to know is you have to do compound movements. It doesn't matter if it's calisthenics or weightlifting. You basically have to do exercises which involve many muscles at the same time. So for example, bench press, squats, deadlifts, or maybe rows, chin-ups, pull-ups. Many of the exercises which are very basic and old school, nevertheless are very effective. Now besides that, to build an aesthetic body, you have to focus on your shoulders and your lats. Now this is something that I'm kind of guilty of because I did neglect my shoulders for a long time, but now I have learned my lessons and I'm going to be doing them more often. And the last important thing for you to do is progressive overload, which means you have to lift more weights or do more sets or basically increase your volume, become stronger and get stronger every time you go to the gym. As for this specific workout program, I would suggest full body workouts, or if you cannot do that, opt for lower body, upper body split, because I found them to be the most effective and result driven workouts. And the last step, number 5, is going to be your nutrition. Now this is the part which is going to be pretty simple. If you're skinny, just bulk. You can even afford yourself to dirty bulk. Don't worry, you're not gonna gain a lot of fat. If you have excess fat, you have to cut down, but still focus on your protein intake. And if you're skinny fat, you have to slowly bulk, or maybe even do that thing which is called recomposition. I'm sure you can do more research on that thing on your own. Approximately 1 year ago, I did like a body test. I'm gonna pull it up on the screen, and as you can see, I weighed around 67 kilograms, but that was with the clothes on. I think without clothes I was like 66 kilograms, which is really not a lot. My target weight was 72 kilograms. Now I am 73 to 74. I think I'm on a pretty good track of achieving my goal, but also I did this type of small tests. I'm also gonna pull it up on the screen, and as you can see, one of the recent tests showed that my body fat percentage was from 8 to 9%, so it's a good sign showing that I am a single digit body fat, and I'm showing these examples so that you can also do the test by yourself and to look at the areas that you have to work on to achieve an aesthetic body. These are my 5 steps to achieve an aesthetic, good looking body. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up and subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you in the next one.